The other day, this photo managed to get a lot of attention, and I have to be honest, it was actually good. And that is why I want to share with you the exact setup, the shoot, and how I edited these photos, so you can do it yourself and you can understand that it's not really hard. And so without further ado, we start with the setup. So this is my desk. You can see that it's pretty small, so you don't need a really big setup or a big desk or one of those studio places to make this kind of photo, because that is what I love about this. I just have a key light here. You can see on the left side it's a 34 inches softbox from Newer, and the other light I'm gonna use is this one. This is not sponsored by Newer, but I keep telling so many times how good this light is, because you can turn it on, change colors, change shapes, and you can attach these, which you can use with little shapes inside that you can change. So the background, I have a whiteboard as you can see here, and attached to it a vinyl black paper. So for my photos, sometimes I use this mouse mat, which is nice to put on the bottom of this kind of photos. But for this one, I thought that it doesn't really match very well with the items, so I'm gonna roll it out, and I'm just gonna leave it here on the side, so we can use this wooden color vinyl that I put on this table as well. And then we got my props box, which is basically a box with all the stuff that I use for my photography. Like you can see, we have another backdrop that I used last time, actually, a net. I still got that vinyl paper here that I used for the board, rope, Spirit Life cards, which we're gonna use today as well. This very beautiful compass. Today I'm gonna take a shot of this Mech Army knife again, because I keep using it, and that is simply because I love it so much. So I'm gonna use this net and just put it on the background. And I'm gonna move this a bit more forward because I want to create separation between the background and my items. Then I'm gonna add this rope behind here. And actually I'm gonna use some of the rope to go around the lantern and fall behind the book, just like this. I figured out the other day that creating lines really helps to bring the view to the subject, to the item that you want. So if I do this rope is basically pointing at the knife. And then I placed Spirit Life cards over here, as you can see. There you go. So this is the setup, but there is something missing. Something that is almost as important as the whole setup itself, and is the light. So if I'm going to turn on the light now, you can see that this creates a whole new mood. And what I do is let it go on the background, because I want to create the separation between the background and the items, but also let it fall a bit on the sides here, so it creates that golden nice look. Now stay here with me, because I want to show you something very important as well, because my light here is 5600 Kelvin and I cannot change it. So what I will do to warm up the photo, I'm going to set the white balance of my camera to 7500 or 8000. So 7500 right now looks good. So you can see that it already looks more warm, and it captures the warmth of this environment, which is really nice. And so the next thing to do now is shoot. And to do that, I'm gonna switch to the 85mm 1.8 Samyang, which I have right here. So now we are with the 85mm Samyang. I had to go back quite a bit because it's an 85mm, so of course. And I'm using a 2.2 aperture on this shot, Now I'm gonna take some photos right now and then we're gonna jump on the edit. Okay, here we are in Lightroom Classic. I prefer to use Lightroom Classic because it has more features than the Lightroom desktop. Here are the shots, but around the end I know that I took some really nice ones. So I'll start with the crop. We make it 4:5, and I also have to zoom in a bit. I know we're gonna lose Pittsburgh Life cards, but it's better that I had them there and not using it instead of wishing I had something there in the first place. So I'm gonna remove this white part on the bottom by cropping it out. And I think it already looks really nice. So at this point I do share my presets with you in these descriptions of this YouTube video, and I have some of them. You can see there are some that these are more for premium shots or having more blacks in the shot, but the one I use a lot for this style is Matte 8. Now what I'm gonna do is to bring down the exposure a bit more, because from now on I will almost use masks for the entire photo. Indeed, I'm gonna start with a radial gradient and we're gonna brighten up the middle part. What I'll do is literally just bring up the exposure, play a bit around with the clarity, texture and highlights, but in this case I want to use the clarity only on some subjects, and I'm gonna show you really soon how I do that. So bring up the highlights a bit, then we're gonna right click, duplicate and invert the mask, and we're gonna darken this as well. I like to use the dehaze as well to darken the images because it doesn't bring down the exposure only, but also makes it more contrasty. Right now we just applied one preset, we added two masks, and this is the difference. It's literally night and day. But it's not over yet. We still have quite a bit of work to do. I'm gonna choose this option, select objects, and is one of the most beautiful things that Lightroom ever added in their features. Because once you select the object, we make sure we only going to edit this part. And again, here I'm gonna bring up the exposure a bit, but now we also bring up the clarity. Not too much, just a bit, and the texture. You can see that this knife really stands out compared to the other items in the photo, but I might have to use the highlights more than the exposure. There you go. And the one thing I almost always do with this kind of knives, especially with this one, because I'm using 7500 a white balance, I'm gonna bring down the blue a bit and then desaturate it, so you can see that the knife now it stands out more, but also gives that true color that normally has. I might exaggerate it a bit with the highlights. I still like the knife to blend in, kinda like this. There you go. This is the one. So it stands out a bit more, but it's not too much because I don't want it to look like photoshopped in. One other thing I want to do is maybe restrict a bit the area that we brighten up. Next we're gonna add linear gradient. I always use this from the bottom right. It depends whatever you like, but I use it from the bottom right in this photo, and I'm gonna subtract select subject. Let it do its magic because I don't want to darken the items as well. And we bring down the exposure. And what I like to do, because it gets really dark now, is to raise the blacks a bit, so it gives that matte feeling. And then we're gonna do the exact same on the other side over here. You can bring it down quite a lot because we're gonna subtract the subject anyway. and you can see and these two masks really make a difference. One of the things that I like to do sometimes is to get a brush, go on the presets here, and you're gonna find everyone has this dodge and burn. So I do use a bit of dodge and burn in my photos. So this is the part where I'm using it to brighten up the image. So I'm gonna go and brighten up the brighter parts. I don't know why it came out now. There you go. I like to do that a lot on the ropes because it does make a really big difference. Once you see with and without, it does make quite a difference. Then we're gonna choose the brush again, but this time we're gonna use the burn preset. So it's gonna darken this area. We just darken the shadows now. I don't like to take it too far with this tool, but just to give that contrast look. I really like this shot as it is now. The only thing I might do is just to check what happens if I warm it up even more. So look, I can press Ctrl Z, Ctrl Shift Z to get back to how it was. I think it gives it more character, and I like it more with more warm. Just a tiny bit though, we didn't do much about it. And well, this is my final photo. I really hope you guys liked this video, and I really hope you can subscribe and let me know if I should make more videos like this, because it's really important for me if you guys can help me and support me in this journey. So thank you very much, and I will see you in the next one.